So you have a retail shopping center or property with a vacancy. Maybe you have multiple, or maybe you have hundreds across the country. There's nothing more important for a landlord than getting that vacancy leased up. You could hire a junior leasing rep, and that could cost over $60,000 a year, not to mention overhead, bonuses, or commission. But if you're paying them commission, that's great. It means they're closing deals. But what if they spend most of their time not closing deals? For the most part, how they actually spend their time is just trying to get interest in leads in the first place. But I suppose there's no alternative. Maybe even just 2 years ago that was true, but not anymore. Today, I'll show you how ReSquared built an AI leasing agent that completely takes over the hardest part of leasing, getting qualified leads and interest in the first place for less than 15% of the cost. So first, let's go through the standard workflow. So if you have your vacancy and you're a leasing rep or a broker trying to get leads for it, the first part is just building the list, which we find a lot of brokers say that alone can take half of a day. You might click around, do a Google search for coffee shops, especially if you're searching for local businesses where there's not a lot of easy to find data on local tenants in any market. And after a few hours, you might have 20 emails in your list. And then when it comes time to do actual outreach, hopefully your team is sending personalized emails that look like they're genuinely interested in having a meeting with that local business. But more often than not, because this is also time consuming, they're just adding them to the same broker blast that we're used to getting a lot in commercial real estate, which these get typically pretty close to about a 0% reply rate. If you're a local business owner and you get something like this, some sort of flyer or HTML email with images, it's really unlikely that you're going to stop and feel the need to respond to that. So you've spent all this time for very few results, and at the end of the day, you're still just hoping for signed calls or someone to fill out a request on some online listing site, and you're letting the leads hopefully come to you instead of being able to be proactive and going out and getting the leads you need. Not to mention these reps have to take sick days and vacation times. They deal with burnout. It's a really difficult role to spend all of that time manually prospecting. So the alternative, what we've done is we've trained an AI specifically on the millions of campaigns that have been sent on the ReSquared platform for what works and what doesn't work to actually get local businesses interested, particularly in a retail or restaurant or office space vacancy. So that's the starting point for this, is a lot of proprietary data on actual outreach and what works and the signed leases that resulted from it. And then we can take that with a lot of expertise from commercial real estate professionals on how should you select an ideal tenant? What type of merchandising or tenant mix strategy would a landlord ideally pursue for any given vacancy? Who's going to make the best tenant? Who in the market is going to fill the biggest need, given demand gaps or given a void analysis? All of this intelligence is built into our AI leasing and outbound campaign agent. So all you need to do is send an email to your personal agent, give it a flyer that you have for marketing, give it a website, or if you're don't have any of that, just give it an address and say tenant please, and it will autonomously go through all of the logic and training data that it has. It'll follow any additional requests you have, like if you already know a specific type of tenant, or if you have a specific strategy that you want to emphasize, it'll give you that information back, and it'll actually draft up a completely personalized ideal campaign and pick an initial target segment of who to reach out to. And this is completely personalized in plain text on an individual basis to each business, because the AI system that's actually going to send the emails in the background is the ReSquared outreach system So it can autonomously send out, on average for a client, at least 150 of these emails a day. But obviously that can scale up to any number depending on how much outreach you're trying to do and how fast you're trying to fill that space. And then from there, you just get leads in your inbox. So at that point, it's done the heavy lifting. And not only has it done all of that work for you, it's actually getting better results. You're getting higher quality outreach. We see on average at least a 4 times higher response rate than the typical CRE broker blast. And it's completely automated if you want it to be, or it can be more hands-on. You can give it more instruction. You can tell it exactly what to say if you'd like it to, or you fit the type of messaging or value props that you think are important. And the Rescored team in the background is always checking campaigns and making sure that the AI is on track. In order to best leverage AI, we find that being able to have a really well-developed and tested AI system like this AI agent is important, and then ongoing constant oversight from the Rescored team of humans to make sure that it's working and it's satisfying what you need. So for you, you might have just spent a couple of minutes and you could set it up to run entirely on autopilot until that vacancy is leased up, and you just get the leads in your normal inbox. Oh, and it's drastically less expensive. On average, it's going to be about 15% of the cost of a full-time leasing rep, and it's 100% dedicated and focused, never takes an off day, will work over the weekends if you want it to.